Hey everyone, I'm Justin. I'm a professor in Education Leadership Studies, Dr. Bathan. The high school I work at calls me that more than anyone else. I'm perfectly fine with Justin. So, I'm a professor in EDL, but you may not get to take a course with me early in the program. I wanted to do this short 5-minute video, a little bit about who I am, so you have a sense of whether I might make a good committee member for you. Let's start with a little bit of my background, then I'll shift to my roles on committees. So, background. I'm an attorney. I was a high school teacher. I currently help to operate a high school here in Lexington. All of those things I think should give you some sense that I am a very practical dude interested in practical questions that impact learners. And I'm interested in learners from preschool to post-secondary. I love the whole institution of schooling, education, and the relationship to citizens and learning and democracy. All of that is so fascinating to me. I'll spend my whole career in those spaces. Okay, so that's a little bit about who I am. My strengths are in education policy and in technology and in structural components of the education system. All right, those are definitely my strengths, and I like playing in those spaces. So my personal core research topics usually involve law, usually involve technology, and usually involve some component of education policy. Those pieces, that's where I spend a lot of my own personal research time, but I just love questions, practical questions of educational systems and structures and leadership that get to making lives better for learners. I love those questions. So I'm pretty open. Actually, I can get into all kinds of great questions, and I look forward to potentially hearing yours. Okay, so a little bit about me then on committees. I have pretty high expectations. I don't think anyone will disagree with that front. I have high expectations because you, as a potential doctorate in our society, have a huge responsibility. We, as a society, expect people with the doctorate label to be sort of the philosopher kings, to speak the hard truths when they need to be spoken, to help lead change when it needs to be led. Those responsibilities are important in a society, and you, I think, to yourself, more than even society in general, need to prove that you are a person capable of handling the really hard things in life. This is a great opportunity for you to both prove that to yourself and prove that to the world. So I want the students whose committees that I'm on, I want you to earn it, which means that, I'm not going to handhold a lot. It's a process that you need to lead. It's a process that you need to develop through. However, here is what I do love doing. I love helping learners grow. So, I expect growth, but I'll help you grow. So hopefully that gives you a sense a little bit. That's probably not different than most other committee members, but I want to make sure everyone's clear up front. I like really clean technical writing. All right, so my strengths are probably more in writing than in methodology, and I help high schoolers learn how to write. I certainly don't mind helping others learn how to write, helping to form clear ideas and then communicate those ideas very clearly, concisely, technically. I like all that kinds of stuff. That's the lawyer in me. I super appreciate cleanliness in writing. So it's something that I think I can be useful on. Now, methodologies. I'm a lawyer, so legal methodologies, and in the education policy space, I'm pretty strong. In qualitative and quantitative methodologies, I'm certainly competent, but I wouldn't call myself a methodologist on either of those two fronts. I like questions in both spaces, qualitative and quantitative questions. I like them both. Me as an attorney, I approach the world in terms of evidence, and I'm constantly searching for great evidence. And both qualitative and quantitative questions can lead to great evidence. Now, evidence is very rarely, if never, conclusive. There is never a piece of evidence that tells the whole truth. So I have plenty of those reservations built in, but I love questions that help get us to layers of evidence that we can rely on. So both sides, both methodologies are interesting to me. Questions across the P20 spectrum are interesting to me. I'm really interested in learners and how learning happens, how structural systems work with learners, how leaders lead those structural systems. All that stuff is super interesting to me. And of course, that covers so much ground that likely your dissertations fit somewhere in those spaces. And so I look forward to hearing them. I look forward to talking more. I love my coffee. I'm a typical professor. I usually, when someone thinks about me on their committee, I usually like to have a quick cup of coffee, hear about your ideas, let you ask me questions. I'll ask you a few questions. If it feels like a great fit, then of course we'll proceed. Right? So that would be the next step with me, is invite me out for a cup of coffee, and let's see what happens from there. Okay? All right, great. Great to get to know you guys. Look forward to seeing you later in the program and seeing you all wrap up those dissertations someday.